Welcome to TRL Radio with your hosts, Eric and Michelle Hall.
Your average Joe experts in simplified health. All right, hey, well, welcome back to episode 2 of TRL Radio. Apparently, something enticed you to come back and hit play again on episode 2. That, something like drew you in. We were saying maybe it was like my super sexy voice is what really brought you back in.
That was it.
That's probably it. Although I don't think I talked like that at all in the last episode.
I don't think so either. I
maybe
like it.
The people were like, "Oh, we're expecting a sexy voice."
Yes.
Nope, this is all you get right here. This is my sexy voice. But yeah, no, we're super glad that you're here. We're super glad that you're back with us again. One of the things that we were thinking about and we were talking about as we went through that first episode is like, it was super story driven because we wanted you guys to know like who we were, what we were about, and then why in the world we were doing a podcast. There's a bazillion podcasts out there. Why are we doing one? And so that first episode was definitely very story driven about who we are, and that in all of our episodes, whether it's just me and Michelle or we have guests, which hopefully one day we have guests. We're not cool enough yet to have guests. One day, you mark this down, episode 2, we talked about having guests. But we will have guests, and we want to be able to have everything we talk about to be simple, actionable steps that you can take back to implement into your life, into your family's life, that will improve your life, your health in some way, shape, or form. And the first episode didn't have a ton of that. So as you come back to the second episode, I don't want you to be like, oh man, that first one, it was great, a great story. But moving forward, we'll have a lot more things like that to do. So and we'll make sure that our steps are simple, but not necessarily easy.
Right. Yeah, something that you can take and that day go home and be like, okay, I can put feet to this. And maybe it looks a little bit different than what we share or how we did it, and that's okay. You can really change this to work for your life. But yeah, just simple, easy to follow. Not necessarily easy,
Right.
but simple to follow.
Right. Those things that like when you say, oh, I know I should, but, and then you give all the reasons of why you don't do the simple thing that you know you should be doing. Those are the things that we're saying like, hey, we know it's not easy, but we want to make sure as much as possible that these are simple things. We're not going to be asking anybody to go out and invest $1 bazillion or to invest, hours and hours of time, because that's not simple. It actually gets super complicated.
Most people can't do that, nor necessarily should they.
Right.
It's not necessary.
One of the things you just said, I think that is important too, as we kind of like introduce this episode here, is that everyone is so different. Every family is different. For one, to start just individually, there is literally no other person on the planet like you. There's nobody. Even if you have a twin out there, their person is not exactly like you. And if you're a twin, you know that. I grew up with friends who were twins, and they were not the same person, that's for sure. And so the things that we share in our life, like we say, hey, well, we did this. It very well, not even may, but probably should look different in your life. Like we always say, like we want to give you building blocks, and the building blocks will be very similar, if not the same, but what you build will be way different. So as we go through these things, don't think, well, this is what Eric and Michelle did, so this is what we got to do. No, like you find what works for you, and it might be maybe what we did was a starting block for you, and then you kind of adjust it on as you go.
Make it your own.
Yep, 100%. And so so with that, with today, one of the things that we want to talk about, is one of the things that is often like forgotten, overlooked when people are looking to implement really any kind of change into their life. And again, it's one of those very simple things that just it's overlooked, and often because it's overlooked, really derails change.
Right.
So with that, one of the things, or what we want to talk about, is that mindset. We don't think about our mindset before we start thinking about change.
Yeah, we just want to jump in and be like, okay, I'm going to make healthy changes in my life. So I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours every day for the, next week. And I'm going to throw out all the food in my pantry, and I'm going to go shopping and buy all these health foods. And okay, maybe you lead up to some of those things, like Just so you know, we don't do those things.
Right.
If that works for you, cool. Not for us. But if you go into it doing that, you will burn out with, I mean, I give you a month tops. Like, no one can sustain that, and you're not starting with the right foundation. You're going to
Right.
burn out quickly.
Right.
And the mindset is that foundation.
Right. And so just even think about like things that people have said about mindset, right? So it's not just, us saying, oh, hey, mindset's important. Now, from experience, I can tell you that mindset's important. I've tried and we've tried hundreds of things for weight loss and for health improvements that exactly what you just said fizzled out after 30 days. It really didn't work out super well for us. And so, yeah, mindset's important. I can tell you from experience, but like even like something like a book as historic and as timeless as like the Bible says, like the way a man thinks, so is he. Well, that's pretty important. The way you think is going to be,
It's who you are?
yeah, that's going to be
Okay,
who
yeah.
you are. So, okay, so let's think right. All right, so maybe the Bible's not your thing. Like Henry Ford, one of his quotes here, I'm just going to read it. I have it here. If you think you can do a thing or think you can't do a thing, you're right. I remember when I first read that, I was like, I don't understand that
what
quote.
now?
What did he say again? So I'll read it again. I know it's a pretty famous quote, so you probably heard it before. But if you think you can do a thing or think you can't do a thing, you're right. Basically, no matter what you think, you're right. Because what you think is going to determine what you do. If
Your
you
mind has that much effect on the outcome of your actions.
Yeah, I mean, even at a super high level, like physiologically, like thoughts change your body. Thoughts change chemically who you are. Like it changes everything. You think about that idea of like butterflies in your stomach when you get nervous, right? You start thinking about something that makes you nervous and you get those butterflies in your stomach. That's a physiological change. Your brain is literally changing your physiology just like that, and it's a thought, right? So the way we think is critically important. So today we want to talk about 3 mindset shifts that will pave the way to change, right? So there's still work to be done. So we didn't say 3 mindset shifts. I'm going to maybe accidentally slip and say something that's not shifts, I feel like.
And I will laugh a lot.
Especially mindsets with a T on the
Yep.
end there. 3 mindset shifts that will
this
pave the
PG.
way to change, right? It's not going to make you change. You can't just, okay, well, I'm thinking different. How come I'm not changing? No. This is going to pave the way. It's going to open the door for change. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. So the first one, you want to hit that first one there?
Yep, the very first one is, what's your why?
Yeah, right.
Why are you doing what you want to do?
Yeah, the age-old question that Simon Sinek asks, he has his book. Definitely recommend that called What's Your Why? But yeah. What's your why? So, okay, so babe, tell us a little bit like what we mean by that. I think you're getting ready to get into it.
So, what's your why? If you ask someone, oh, why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to get healthy? Oh, because I have a wedding coming up, that I'm going to be in, and I want to drop 20 pounds in a month so that I can, look good in the pictures. Or, well, I know I need to be healthier, and I want to be smaller. I know this isn't the right, size for me. I know that I could be healthier, smaller, all these things. So that's my why. That's not really your why.
Right.
That's kind of part of your goal, like the end result that you're looking for, the actual physical change. But if you really peel the layers back, that's not your why. And so what we want to help you guys do is find what your actual why is.
Right. It's being that annoying 2-year-old. For anyone who has or had a 2-year-old, you understand this. They keep asking,
Well, why?
why? Well, why? Well, why? And honestly, we need to ask ourselves those questions a lot more. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Even from a life standpoint, like, do we ever stop and think about, like, I just do the same stuff every day. I wake up at this time, I go here, I do this thing. Like, well, why? Do you like it? No, I hate it. Well, then why do you do it?
Why?
Like,
Maybe we should
have you thought about
reevaluate.
why? And maybe there's an adjustment there, right? So yeah, so like you want to be able to ask that question, why? We had one of our first clients that we were talking with, and when we were meeting with her, she wanted to lose weight. She wasn't like grossly overweight or anything like that, but wanted to lose weight and be healthy. And so, like the 2-year-olds we are, we asked
Yes,
the
sir.
question,
Why?
well, why?
Yeah.
And it was some of those answers that you gave. Well, I know I'm unhealthy. I need to, I need to lose a little bit of weight. All right, but why do you want to lose weight? Like, and why today? Like, why not yesterday? And why? Well, I've always known I wanted to, and you know, I really want to lose weight because, I just, I'm uncomfortable, and all right, well, like, what does that mean?
Well, why?
Right. Well, why? Like, well, why are you uncomfortable? Anyhow, without going through that annoying whole line of why, to spare everyone the time, what ended up happening is we were talking to this person, and she said actually something that, like, I don't think, and not that it was necessarily super profound, but I don't think she realized how deep it was even when she said it. And what she said is, I'm really tired of being the person behind the camera taking the pictures of everybody having a good time. I want to be the person in the pictures taking a good or having a good time.
Yeah. And it wasn't like a vanity thing of, well, I don't look good enough to be in the pictures, and so therefore I'm going to take the pictures. It was, I'm not healthy enough to participate in the things that everyone's doing, and so I'm missing out. I'm the
Right.
one sitting there watching, taking these pictures. I want to be involved. I want to be in it. My grandkids are growing up, and I want to be able to do all these fun things with them. So it wasn't so much of even just the aesthetics of it, which, hey, yeah, we all want to look good in pictures. It's not vanity. It is what it is.
Right.
But it was more of, I want to be able to participate in all the things that I've been missing out on for so long.
Yeah, she wanted to be the one playing soccer, that was throwing the football, that was playing the freeze tag, not the one who was taking the pictures and posting the videos.
Yeah.
And so that becomes, to her, that became like the thing, like that made it a lot easier when things were hard. Notice I didn't say easy, but a lot easier when it was hard to make the sacrificial choices, right? When it was like, man, that dinner was really good. I want to have more, but I want to be the person in the pictures more.
And that end result is worth the sacrifice, the temporary sacrifice you're making.
Right.
You need something that's worth it. Because if it's just, I just, want to lose some weight so that I, feel better or whatever, like it'll be easy to, finagle your way out of
Yep.
that and say, it's really not that big of a deal. I'm actually not that uncomfortable. At least I'm not as big as so-and-so, whoever that might be. And,
Right.
everyone's got some pounds to lose, so no big deal. I'll just give up.
And there's always a so-and-so, right? There's always a so-and-so. There's always that person or whatever that you can always go back to. Even think from our own personal experience, right? And even mine from like the story we told last episode, of we had tried a bunch of things. And me personally, like I know you lost weight too, but for you wanted to lose weight, and I know you had some from a health standpoint that you wanted to lose as well. Like you never got the label morbidly obese. Like I remember when the doctor told me that, like he was doing like the note to self thing at the doctor's office, so that he would go back and take his notes, and he literally paused it and looked at me, and he was like, "You're about to hear me say something that's probably going to sound offensive. This is just the scientific term." And he was like, "Click. Eric is morbidly obese."
You're like, oh, dagger to the heart.
I was like, "You're right. That is offensive." But I needed to hear it. It was
Yeah.
good. Like it was one of those things, right?
Yeah.
But so I had all the way, and we tried 100 bazillion different things, it seems, and it was always easy to quit because of so and so, because of this reason, because of that reason. This is too complicated. It is whatever. And I never took the time to figure out the why. Well, my why kind of hit me in the face as opposed to me having to uncover it when I got booted off of a roller coaster. Now, for some people, you might think, oh, whatever, you got booted off a roller coaster, no big deal. Well, for the Hall family, for our family, like vacations are a big deal. Like we didn't have, not that we even have now, we didn't have a ton of money. So us saving up for a family vacation. So it's me and Michelle, and we have 4 kids. There's 6 of us. Like
It's not a cheap
family
thing,
vacations are
yeah.
never cheap. Going out to dinner's not cheap,
No,
right?
no,
And
it's
so when we were doing these things, like, and we were planning for it, whatever, and like, as much as I'm like afraid of heights and things like that, like I'm a thrill seeker. Like I love since losing weight, me and my son have went skydiving. You would never I would never thought that, right? So, but roller coasters are amazing. Like I love them. Like I love doing them with my family. And so it wasn't so much of being kicked off a roller coaster, but of thinking like this thing that as a family we love to do, and specifically roller coasters, like I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
This
Your
is
health,
being
yeah.
taken away from
Yeah,
me.
your health was now dictating to you what you could and couldn't do. And it was taking away things that were more important than making those sacrifices.
Right.
Yeah.
So my why became screw this. There's no what? No, no, no. This is not going to happen. I'm going to be in control of what I can and can't do. I'm not going to let my health determine that for me. It reminds me of like the phrase, which I'm sure everyone's heard before, and it's usually like, in a post with a bunch of different other phrases. One of them is like, being healthy is hard. Being unhealthy is also hard.
Yeah.
Choose your hard. And at that point, I was like, yep, this unhealthy is becoming way too hard. Like, this is not worth it.
Yeah.
This is like, whatever I got to do to not be here again, I'm going to do it.
It's costing you more than you're willing to give.
Mm-hmm.
Where the being healthy and choosing healthy is actually easier at that point than dealing with the hard of being unhealthy.
Yeah.
But that's a choice you have to make.
Right. Yep. Yeah. That cost became too high. And I was like, no. But then it's funny because, like, once I found out, I kind of started thinking back more and more. And I was like, oh, yeah. Like, I remember that, like, I'm always been super nervous to try new things. I'm like, oh, what if it's the big guy who can't do it? And people are like, oh, come on, big guy. Don't you know you can't do this? Like, so all that stuff started getting in your mind. I'm like, forget it. This is not anymore. So for me, that was digging into my why of why. And it ended up sticking, like, because it was like, nope, this is what I got. This is what I got. And so that's going to take some like digging, some, going deep with yourself and understanding, some introspection of writing things down of, what really do I want to do here? Why am I trying to accomplish this? Right. And what's going to be that long-term effect? So,
Yeah. And if you don't have someone sitting there asking you, well, why? Well, why? You're going to have to ask yourself that question. Okay, so I'm here. Okay, but why? Okay, which gets me to here, but why? So keep asking yourself until you get to a concrete thing that you can say, oh, gosh. And it probably will be an eye-opening thing where you're like, oh, I never really thought about it. But that's why.
Yeah.
Like, this is this underlying thing that happened, 15 years ago that has kind of always been there. And I always knew it was there, but I didn't realize it until now that's what's been making these decisions for me.
Or didn't realize it was as big of a deal.
Right.
Oh, gosh, I didn't realize that was still in the back of my head, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever, right? And it doesn't have to be, about the kid in junior high who called you fat. Maybe it is, right? But like...
Or even a big traumatizing,
Right.
event. But like this mindset that's been there in the back of your mind for whether it's a month, a year, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, it's been there, and it'll creep up, and you'll finally realize, oh, this is why.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then it kind of leads us to the next part of like, okay, so remember, we're going to have these three mindset shifts.
Good job.
3 mindset shifts. Remember, it's what's your why? So along with that too is once you kind of like, I say figure out, and it could be like a moving thing, like your why for wanting to be healthy is one thing now, right? And so maybe my why is different now, like, and not that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm the epitome of health, right? But I'm in a really healthy spot right now, and so riding roller coasters isn't my why anymore. But now I'm like, okay, well, for me a big thing was I want to be able to lift. I wanted to be able to lift two plates, 225. I wanted to be able to bench press 225 pounds. And I couldn't. Like, even after I lost the weight, like I wasn't strong, like I couldn't do that. So my why shifted. All right, I want to do it. And then I had to think, well, why do I want to do that? And I kind of got back down. For me, I was like, for me, being able to lift 225 was like, I can protect my family. I could remember thinking, like, I can protect my family. I can lift 225 pounds. Someone's going to cut to my family. They have to go through me first. And I can lift 225 pounds. I'm strong. Again, not that that's like the is-all, end-all, but I dug down into that why, and my why changed, right? So when you have your why, you figure out what it is, share it. So that's kind of like a sub point of know your why or what's your why is then share your why, all right? Share it with the person that, someone who loves you, who cares for you, who will then remind you of your why. And the key point here is that you will listen to.
Right. Yeah. Be picky about who you pick. Mm-hmm. Like, don't just. So for us, it was each other.
Yep.
Like, we knew, okay, we got each other's back in this. We're doing this together. Let's share it because we can hold each other accountable in a way that's not going to be holding it over your head and in a mean or oppressive way. It'll be in an encouraging, and maybe sometimes it'll be not what we want to hear, but we're going to say it in a loving way. maybe your spouse or your significant other isn't that person. Maybe you're going to tell them and they're like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Or I don't want anything to do with
Yeah,
this.
Eric's back out of health care.
I know. And we don't know what your background is. We don't know what your history is there. Maybe that's the response you would expect.
And there's no hate, right?
There's no hate. Just maybe, okay, that's not the person you want to share it with. Maybe you share it with a friend or a coworker or someone that you know is like, oh, this is important to them too. Or, they've had their own health journey. And so if I tell them, I know that they're going to encourage me. And then maybe when you see your spouse or significant other start seeing the progress or change, that's when they can get on board, and it's different for everyone. That's okay.
Yep. Yeah.
But,
the key is accountability, right?
Yep.
Is that you want to have someone who can hold you accountable, who can ask you the hard questions, and the person that you're going to listen to.
Yeah.
Like the person that you don't want to disappoint. Maybe you don't, and again, no hate, but maybe like you're like, I can blow my wife off, no big deal. Like if she's like, honey, you said you remember your why, and you're like, whatever, babe. Give me the extra helping of pie or whatever, right? So like if that's it, like that's again, no hate there, but find the person that you're like, I don't want to let this person down. If this person were to be like, hey man, how'd it go yesterday? And I'm like, it was a rough day. Like, again, you don't want to pick the person who's going to lambaste you either.
No.
Be like, you no good scumbag. I know you couldn't do it. That's
No
not
one
going to be
needs
helpful
that in their
either.
life. Yeah.
Nobody needs that. In fact, that person you may want to spend a lot less time with.
Yeah.
But so find the person. Again, for us, I can remember thinking times, and again, I love that you never did this like in a nagging or like a manipulative way at all. But and when I made the wrong choice, you didn't stop me either, right? So I can remember times sitting at dinner. We'd be having dinner as a family. I would finish my plate. I'd be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go get some more. And you would just be like, hey, babe, you just want to sit for a minute and see if maybe you fill up just while we're talking here a little bit. And I knew like what you were getting at. I mean, you weren't saying,
but it wasn't, hey, fatty, how about put the plate down?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Lower the fork and
step
slowly
away.
step away from the plate. Exactly. Like it was nothing like that.
But yeah, you knew the heart behind it.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I knew that you were like being like, hey, like remember what we're trying to accomplish here, right? What you're trying to accomplish here. And if I was like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna get some more. Like you weren't like, the protector of the food. Like, no, you will get through me first. You were like, okay, and
that's okay.
And it was what it was, and we had both sides of it, right? And when I did, you weren't like, I told you, right. Like it was because I like inevitably later on I'd be like, oh, I really shouldn't have done that, and you'd be like, yeah, like.
It's okay.
It's not a big deal. Like I kind of knew that's why I said that, but I didn't want to be mean. So like, whatever, no big deal. Like, and then you'd be like, hey, well, let's just, we'll get back on it. If it was lunch, like, well, this dinner, we'll get it better, right? Or, hey, tomorrow morning, we'll get back on it, right? Or whatever. So you want to have an accountability partner like that, someone who's going to be encouraging, who's going to be saying, when you do mess up, because you inevitably will, right? Like that they're there to support
No
you.
one is perfect.
Right. But you want to share, you want to put it out there, right? Hey, here's my why. Here's what I'm trying to accomplish. Maybe that is like with like a group, maybe it's people who you go to the gym with. Maybe it's a group of friends you have. Maybe it's your family. Like we actually did a family meeting. Like
all 6 of us.
Yeah, all 6 of us, like literally like old school family, or not family, full house style. Like I always think about like when we do family meetings, like Danny Tanner leading the family and like a family meeting around the table. Like we were like, okay, family meeting, right? Super dorky. But we did that. And we're like, hey, here's what we're going to do. And like my family was there on board with me. They did the workouts with me. They ate the meals with me. And it was super awesome. Maybe you're like, oh, Erica, it's super cool for you that you had a family that was there to do it. I don't have that. That's fine. Find your family.
Yeah. Doesn't
Gym
have to have
people.
your same last name.
Yeah. Maybe community people, neighbors, whatever. Other people who are going to be aligned with you. The key of all of this is that you're not built to do this alone.
Right.
Like, not that you can't, because there's been people who've done it alone. I guarantee it's been way harder for them doing this by themselves.
Yeah.
So don't do it alone. Find your accountability partner. Share your why with them, and then put it out there. Right? Maybe it's posting it on social media. Maybe it's finding a Facebook group of people looking to lose weight in your local area, and you're like, "Yo, throw me in there." Right? I'm part of this. So.
Yeah. And then the last part of that, what's your why? you've figured it out on your own, you've shared it with your accountability person, write it down. There's something about actually physically writing out your why, your goal, like what you want to do, that just hits different.
Yeah.
It's one thing to just say it and leave it abstract and things like that, but like write it down. Write down your goals, write down your why, journal it. Journaling is so underrated.
Yeah.
And we don't do it as much anymore in our very tech savvy world. Like, and that's awesome. We have all these different things, but like just pen and paper, grab a notebook, write it out.
Yeah, it's funny. There are studies that show that the same parts of our brain that are triggered for like decision making, that are triggering that we use for like our executive function, those are the same parts of our brain that are triggered when we're actually, like, if you're looking at our YouTube channel here, like pen and paper, like that, those same parts of your brain are triggered when you write something down. So even as opposed to like doing a phone note or typing it out or a voice to memo, like that's all fine or whatever. But actually pen and paper, writing it down, like it triggers into your brain, like this is important, that this is a big deal, that this isn't something that's just passive. Now think about how often we actually write nowadays, right? Not a ton, not that saying we don't, but not a ton. It's usually a text or a typing or whatever, right? Writing it down helps bring to mind in your brain. And obviously, like, we want to change our mindset. We want to have as many things working for us as we possibly can if we're going to be trying to make some change, because change is hard, because you're used to doing something a certain way. Actually, your brain is going to fight against you, because your brain's job is to make things as easy as possible for you, like to make them simple. And you're trying to shake that up. Your brain's like, whoa, time out. You're trying to do this, but we need to do this now. Like, what's going on here? Writing it down will help with that very much. And so when you write it down, don't only write down your why, but write down your goals. What weight do you want to weigh? What pant size do you want to put? Those are still good things. Maybe it's not your why,
Right.
but those are good things to write
Good
down.
measurable things.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. And even like write down things that are like non-scale victories, right?
Like, it's great to see a certain number on the scale, but just so you know, a scale is just one measure of health. And it's not even always the best measure of health. Like we always say, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds because I want to weigh this much. Okay, but what if you are losing fat but gaining muscle? That scale might not say the number you want, but like you're like, oh, dang, I can fit in these pants that I haven't fit into. And look at my pipes. Like, I got some serious muscles going on. So weight is great to, kind of be a guide, but don't make it the only measuring stick you use.
Right.
And so non-scale victories are going to be a great indicator. If you're like, man, I really just would love to be able to do 5 push-ups. Okay, well, work up to that. Start with 1 on your knees. And when you can do a couple on your knees, okay, let me try and not do them on my knees anymore.
Right.
And that becomes a victory. That becomes a measurable goal that you can set for yourself, that when you get there, you're like, oh, dang, I said I wanted to do this 6 months ago, and now I'm doing 10 push-ups. And,
Right.
And
that's huge for your mindset as well. And I remember, again, I weighed 330 pounds. So doing a pull-up, like, to say was a pipe dream is maybe an understatement. And I just was like, haha, pull-ups. Those are not for Eric. Like, I remember the first time, and so we didn't have a pull-up bar. We had like literally no workout equipment at our house, right? And so we
had some 5-pound weights.
We had some 5-pound dumbbells, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but we have one of those basketball hoops in our driveway that you could adjust, so you could like lower it to like dunk on it or whatever, right? So we had it up, and I lowered it, and so the bar that was holding the backboard kind of became like a pull-up bar. And I've been lifting. I lost some weight, so obviously I'm not pulling up 330 pounds anymore. Been trying to build some more muscle, and I looked at it and I was like, I wonder if I could do a pull-up on that. Like, and so like I had to get on the base of like the basketball hoop, and I hopped up there, just hung for a minute, and I was like, all right, let's give it a shot. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, and I pulled myself up to where my chin was above the bar. Couldn't do another one. I remember I dropped down, and I felt like the kid who came home from school after kindergarten having like the best day ever. I ran into the house and I was like, Michelle, I did a pull-up. Like, and I felt like a kindergartner going in to tell mom about something amazing that just happened.
Mom, I just saw a butterfly.
Yes.
But you were so excited and we celebrated because that was
Right.
something huge that you could never do before. And all of a sudden things were happening that you could never do before. And your eyes were being open to, oh, dang, what else can I do?
Right.
And so that was a goal that happens. And we celebrated,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah. So write down your non-scale victories. One of the things people can also forget to write down sometimes is you have your why, right? And you have your your end destination in mind, where you want to be, right? I want to weigh this much weight. I want to be able to do a pull-up. I want to be able to walk a mile, jog a mile, run a marathon, do a half marathon, do a 5K, whatever those goals are that are the non-scale victories. But what we can forget to do is write down like, okay, well, here's where I'm at. I'm at 330 pounds. I want to do a pull-up. How am I going to get there?
Right.
What happens if we don't write down that destination, we're not going to be able to see those small victories along the way that get us there, those quote unquote mile markers, right? Nowadays, obviously, we use, cell phones, GPS like crazy. Like we were talking about it yesterday of years ago. We, again, saved up a ton of money and we're like, hey guys, we are going to Florida for vacation. Now we live in Buffalo, New York. So, and flying 6 people to Florida, that wasn't in our budget.
Nope.
And so we found a friend that had a gargantuan van. We got in and we're like, we're going to drive. It was an adventure.
It was.
It wasn't terrible.
No, it was. Our kids were old enough that,
It was long.
it was long, but we didn't have too many. Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
No,
Like,
no.
they were
This
old
is one of those vans. You remember, like, and this is for probably all, like, anyone out there who was born in the 80s, grew up through the 90s, like one of those vans that had the curtains in the windows, right? There's a
the kind of extended top where you could actually like stand
you could
up and
fully
walk.
stand up.
Yeah.
I'm not a super tall guy, but I'm like 6 foot. I could fully stand up in there.
Yeah, it had the little box TV and the cubby on
With the VHS.
with the VHS, yes.
tapes. Like, it
we had
wasn't
to
even,
find and dig out some VHS
yes,
tapes.
right.
When
So
we
this
went.
is the van that we drove down. Amazing van. Amazing guy gloves, by the way.
Right.
So drove it down there. And I remember so we're following the GPS on our phone. And I remember like looking at you and being like, isn't it so crazy that like, I literally have no clue how to get to Orlando, Florida. We ended up going to Universal Studios, by the way, which was amazing.
Amazing.
I was like, I don't even know how to get there. Like, I literally don't know. We're just trusting this phone to get us from here to there. And
Yep. We're trusting the nice lady in the phone who's telling us,
Right.
turn here.
right.
A quarter mile ahead. Cool,
And it,
cool.
like, I mean, maybe I've just got a small brain, but I'm like, that's crazy. Like, we hope this is taking us the right way. Like, we told it where we wanted to go, and if there's bad traffic, it reroutes us and whatever. And so, but it's all those things. And as you get going, like you think about a trip to like Florida, you end up hitting Pennsylvania, and you hit this state, and you hit this state, and you have all these mile markers where you're like, okay, we're getting closer.
Yeah.
We're getting closer. We're getting closer. And some of the mile markers are long. You're like, oh my gosh, I feel like we've been in this state forever, right? But those mile markers help you to know when you're getting there. Well, we need to do the same thing in our journey with health or with whatever change you're trying to make. What are those mile markers, right? Being able to say, we want to, so like for me, what I thought my final goal is I was like, okay, I weigh 330, I want to weigh 200. So I did some research and did a lot of studying, and I learned that like 1 to 2 pounds is what healthy weight loss is. And so
per week.
Per week, sorry. Yep. Per week, 1 to 2 pounds. If you're losing more than that on a regular basis, it's probably not going to be sustainable. Good chance you're going to gain it back. So I was like, okay, well then right now I weigh 330. So next week I want to weigh 329. The next week I want to weigh whatever. And I literally wrote it back week by week where I wanted to be. So that way, after week 1 of making all these changes, or after the first month of making all these changes and seeing a 4 to 8 pound weight loss, I'm not like, this is so stupid.
Been at this at a month and I only lost 4 pounds. Well, no, that's good.
That's good. And so write down your journey, right? Of like, hey, here's how I'm going to know, right? Where, if I'm headed in the right direction. So, so the first one there, with our mindset is what's your why? Just to recap, share it, write it down and journal it, right? We want to make sure that that's it, that we're doing that. So, but yeah, so the next thing in regards to mindset, we have what's your why for these 3 mindset shifts that'll pave the way to change. 1, what's your why? Number 2,
Progress, not perfection.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it perfectly every day for nope, like let's just work on progress. Let's focus on progress. Okay, what are we going to do today? And what if we get derailed? Because we're not perfect. Are we just going to throw our hands up in the air, and say, oh, I'm done? So, for instance, you wake up, you get up and you work out and you have a great breakfast. And then, you packed a really good lunch for, while you're at work. You have a great lunch. You come home and your kids had a crazy day. Your spouse had a crazy day. You have a game, volleyball game you're going to, and dinner is, you ordered horrible food and you're eating at 9:00 at night, whatever it happens
running
to
through
be.
a drive-through,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. Is it? Oh well, I just had this horrible food. You know what? I'm just gonna get started next week. Like I shot this Monday. Why bother?
We'll start next Monday.
We'll start next Monday.
We'll hit it hard next week.
Yeah. Like the week is already gone. I might as well just give up and we'll just eat whatever we eat for the rest of the week.
Right. That's where that idea of perfection is going to derail. It's gonna hurt. So that progress over perfection. One of the people. So a phrase here that's not a TRL original is always something over all or nothing. So I'll say it again. Always something over all or nothing. That's, again, not our own original phrase. That's someone I'd recommend following on the socials. His name's Luca Hostifer. I think I said his last name right. He is a gym owner, has a couple of gyms in the States, has some gyms that are international as well. Amazing person when it comes to motivating and giving super practical things in regards to like movements and workouts and exercises or whatever. But he said that and it like just resonated with me like, man, why don't we think that way? Like well, let's just do something, right? Maybe you don't have time for your normal 30-minute workout, but you have time for 10 minutes. Then do a 10-minute workout. Don't quit.
Right.
Or maybe like for me, right, like you're at work and it's, Susie Q's birthday. And so Susie Q brings in your favorite brownies and you're like, dang, I'm going to have a brownie. And then you're like, oh, I shouldn't have. I'm on this diet. I'm trying to eat better. Screw it. I'll just get back at it tomorrow. No. It's only lunchtime.
You had a brownie. So what? Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Go for a walk.
Go for a walk. Have a sensible dinner and like get back on it, right? So it's always something. Doing something small is going to be better than just quitting and being like, well, no, I'm either all in or it's nothing at all. That's that perfection mindset. It's not going to work out.
You're setting yourself up for failure if that's the way you go into things. Well, I'm going to give it my all, and if I can't give it my all, then I'm done.
Right. And you find out that, like, especially when it comes to like movement or exercise, is like there's usually almost always time for something, right? Even 10 minutes, right? So set a 5-minute timer on your phone at your house or at work, walk for 5 minutes, and then turn around and walk 5 minutes back. Like there's 10 minutes, you've walked for 10 minutes, and okay, you've done something. And not only is walking underrated, but you're moving, your body's up and doing something. Like it's going to be way better for you than just being like, forget it, I'm done.
Right. And you might think like, oh, a 10-minute walk, what good is that going to do me? Again, it's that mindset shift. You just did something good for your body. It's going to propel you to want to do more good things for your body. It's not just going to stop there, and those small things begin to compound.
Yep.
And now you've got big changes. So make those small steps. It's okay. It's okay to take baby steps.
Yeah, and you just build those small steps in your favor.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's habit stacking. Okay, here's this little thing, and here's this little thing, and here's this little thing. And before you know it, these 5 or 6 little things, and you're like, oh, that's pretty significant. Like there was nothing monumentally drastic that we did to lose weight. It was a lot. That's what people want. What's the one giant thing you did to lose 165 pounds? Well, there's not. I really didn't do one giant thing.
It wasn't working out 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
You did not have time for that.
Yeah, it was not like eating, chicken breast, broccoli, and rice every day.
No,
Like,
because who wants to live on that? Yeah.
terrible.
I love chicken. I love broccoli. I love rice.
Right.
But,
And if you love those things, want to eat them all the day, more power to you. That just
for it,
wasn't me, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's taking all these little small things and building them, and before you know it, they all kind of compound and they build, and all of a sudden you have like this momentum going. So it's the small walk or the short walk or
Yep.
whatever, right? And when
Yep.
you have time for a longer one, go for a longer one.
Yeah. So progress, not trying to live perfectly healthy
Right.
lives, because no one can do that, nor should they, where every single thing you do, okay, well, I have to do this because this is the healthy option. You want to make healthy choices, but again, it's okay to have the brownie. It's okay to, when you mess up, and you will mess up because no one is perfect, you need to have a plan and action that gets you back. You can't just stay there and say, okay, I failed. I'm going to continue failing. That's when it's truly
Right.
quitting.
I think you're perfect.
Oh, baby. You are full of poop, but I love you.
All right. So, in regards to mindset, the third thing we have here is also very much underutilized is meditation and prayer. And so, a lot of times we think of prayer, we think of like spiritual, right? And it very well can be, right? That you pray to God, right? And that's awesome. But we forget, and especially me, the importance of just being still and quiet for a moment, of actually doing what's called like breath work, and of taking some time to meditate in prayer. Meditation, we, at least for me, always think of it, like these, these monks of sitting in like these, far away, amazing mountains and like, humming and whatever. And that can be, but at its core, meditation is just really sitting and being silent and focusing on your breathing. It's not more complicated than
Right.
that.
It's just a realignment.
Yeah.
It's a refocusing when, because we live stressful lives. There's a million things going on. And sometimes we do fail, and we just need that moment to be able to be like, okay, it's okay. I can do this. I just need to realign my thoughts. I need to get back on track. I need to just have a moment of meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a study that was done in that when something happens, a failure, something that happens that you don't like, that goes against what you were hoping would happen, that it's literally only for like the first like, I don't remember the study exactly, but I want to say it was like the first like 3 to 5 minutes, maybe it wasn't even that long, to where your body is chemically responding to that failure, to that event. You have different chemicals that are going or whatever. After that, and it may not have been that long, if you continue to think about it, if you continue to stew on it, you are actually choosing to. So to say, I can't help it, from a scientific standpoint, that's not true. I'm not saying that those thoughts won't pop back into your mind or whatever,
Right. But
but
it's
you
a
then have the
choice.
power to say, you know what? I'm not going to focus on that. And that's where that meditation comes in. Hey, I'm just going to sit and think about something different for a minute. I'm just going to sit and think about even my breath. So one of the things that's a breath work, and there's all kinds, right? You can go to YouTube, look up meditations, look up breath work, look up, and there's all kinds of free videos you could follow that would be for guided ones that will help you tremendously. A simple one is called box breathing, right? And the reason why it's box breathing is it's 4, 4, 4, 4. And what it basically is that you slowly inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, then you hold it for 4 seconds. You slowly exhale through your mouth for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and then repeat. This is literally scientifically proven to calm you down. So if you're someone who's like me that can have knee-jerk reactions, or that can get upset or can get down on yourself after a failure, that box breathing can really be something that's calming. And I think the word you used was perfect, like of that realignment. Okay, wait. Let me take control and not just react in this moment, right? And so box breathing would look like this, right? If you want to do it with me, right? I'll kind of count this, right? So remember, it's in through your nose, hold it, out through your mouth for 4, and then hold it, right? So it'd be, okay, ready? So we'll go in through our nose for ready? Hold it. Okay, out. Hold it. And then be back in.
Right.
That's it, right? And just count the 4 seconds, and that will slow your heart rate. that will clear your mind into where you can be like, okay, how do I actually want to move forward? Not reactively move forward, right?
And you know where I've actually used that before is have you ever been laying in bed at night and for whatever reason that's when your mind decides to think about it. It might not even be bad things, but like your mind just starts thinking about all the things for tomorrow or, whatever your mind wants to think about. That, it might be reciting your favorite song from when you were, 18 years old.
Right.
But whatever your mind
Which
wants
would
to
have been
think.
Baby Got Back by
Baby
Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Got Back. Yep. Absolutely. But anyway, so I literally have done that where I'm just laying in bed and I'm like, let me do some box breathing because it gives your mind something to focus on. It calms you down. And almost every single time I'm in a much more prepared place to fall asleep.
Yep.
So it might not
Literally
even.
did it last night.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. You're
Yes.
like, yep. So my mind was everywhere last night.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it just helps to realign, to refocus, to calm down, whatever you need to go through in that moment. It's a pretty quick and easy thing. It's not like you have to do it for an hour.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to say, like with meditation or prayer, whatever it is that you're using, like you don't have to sit for an hour in silence. Like if you have that time and that's something you desire to do, hey, have at it. That's awesome. Good for you. Tell me how you're doing that. But most people don't have that. Sometimes it's literally taking 3 minutes to just say, hey, mommy's going upstairs. I'm shutting the door. Leave me alone. I need 3 minutes. Maybe you have to go in the bathroom because that's the only place your kids won't bother you. Maybe they still bother you in there. I don't know. Find a closet that you can sit in for 3 minutes and just breathe, recenter yourself, have a little bit of time.
If you're at an office, if you have an office, shut the office door. Like I done it before and I turn my chair around so people don't think I'm a weirdo. They think I'm just, whether reading something or whatever. And just, you can sit in your office chair and do it. You don't necessarily have to be on the floor. You don't have to be in the lotus position, which is sitting, cross-legged with your hands on your knees, right? It's literally just calming down, purposefully calming down. And another big part of that also too is like gratitude.
Yeah.
We always say you always find what you're looking for. So if you're in a mindset of gratitude, you will find things to be thankful for.
Yeah.
If you're in a mindset of complaining, you will find things to complain about because you always find what you're looking for. So let your mind know what you want it to find. I want to find things to be thankful for. Like, and I know this sounds so cheesy, but if you tell your brain, like, no, I want to look for things to be thankful for. I want to look for things to be joyful about today. Your brain will help you find those things. It's like our son had, he had a PT Cruiser. Like he always called it the PT Loser. But anyhow, he had that and it wasn't his favorite car, but whatever. But when he first bought it, like, and even after he had it, we saw PT Cruisers like crazy.
Oh, was that Caleb? No,
Yep.
just another PT Cruiser.
Exactly, right? And it wasn't like all of a sudden like everybody bought PT Cruisers, but in our brain, because our son had one, we saw them all over the place. PT Cruiser, PT Cruiser, PT Cruiser. If you tell your brain to be thankful, it will start to find things to be thankful for. And you'll find that will change your mindset. It'll be part of like that meditation and prayer of like, man, I'm thankful. Like I have this, and it'll help propel you towards your goals, that mind shift, right? Of when you do fail, being like, it's all good. You'll have grace with yourself and you'll be able to move forward, right? So just again, so like with the 3 things we talked about today, again, I'm going to try it again. 3 mindset shifts that will pave the way to change. One of them, what's your why? Number 2, progress, not perfection. Number 3, meditation and prayer. Hopefully we've given you some things that are practical that you can be like, oh, I can go start some of this stuff now. We'll talk a lot more about a lot of other things, nutrition and exercise later on. But this right here, we thought was critically important.
Great starting point.
Yeah. So one of the things we want to do in each of our podcasts is we want to, or as many as possible, do this thing we want to call our rudimentary ritual. So with a rudimentary ritual, it's like that one basic, simple, not necessarily easy, but thing that's kind of like a non-negotiable. This is what we do to stay on track, right? One day when we have guests, we'll be asking them the same question. But for today, we want to ask Michelle, what is your rudimentary ritual?
So one of my rudimentary rituals, and this may seem super silly, but we talked about journaling and it kind of goes hand in hand with it. I am the queen of to-do lists. Speaking of writing things down, like, yeah, I keep lists on my phone and stuff like that, but I am old school. I will grab my pen and my notebook and I need to have a written list of, okay, this week, what is my to-do list? It's a great brain dump for one.
Yep.
When you're up at night and you're like, oh my gosh, I have a million things. Okay, let me just write this on my list so that I can leave it there and then actually go to sleep. I have a grocery shopping list, and I have like I said, here's things I want to get done. I have, right now we're thinking about Christmas. And so I have Christmas lists and all these different things. When I have it written out, there's a peace for me, because I know what's coming.
Well,
Also,
then you don't have to
that
remember it anymore either.
I don't have it's out of my brain because there's too many things up there already and short on space in my brain. So if I can get it out, that's great.
Right.
And then there's always that nice little dopamine boost when you get to check something off. So help me, if someone checks something off of my list that I did, I might cut them. Like, you don't touch mommy's list. Like,
Right.
I get to check it off.
I know that
that is my happy place.
We're coming up on Thanksgiving here, and so we go crazy for Thanksgiving. And Michelle makes, and the kids help out. I help a little bit, but huge list on a dry erase board. And we ask her, we know, you ask her if you can cross something off. Hey,
Yeah. Hey, did you make the, pumpkin pie yet? I did.
can we cross it off?
I will allow it. It
Yes.
depends. But no, I have to have that nice little, I did it, check,
So let me ask
done.
you, do you ever write something on a list that you've already got
my
done
goodness.
just so you can cross it off?
Of course I do.
Of course.
Yes. I've made meal plans where it's like our meal plan goes from Monday to Monday, just because I go grocery shopping on a Tuesday typically. Sometimes I don't get my meal plan on the board. I have like a chalkboard. I will still go back and write whatever meals we've already done for the week because, I did them and they have to be on there and people have to know these are the meals I made this
Right.
week. Yeah, to-do list. This needs to be
Hey,
added.
make the bed. Oop. I'm writing it down. I already did it.
I already did it. Check
Good.
for me.
Guess what? I'm already working at my to-do list.
Yep. And I feel like this is something that people have been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years, centuries. I just picture little cavemen and cavewomen that were like, okay, here's the to-do list, kill wild boar for dinner. Check. They wrote it on their little stone tablets.
Yeah.
But it works. Make lists. You don't have to be crazy to-do list lady like I am, but I don't know. That's my thing.
I love it.
That's what gets me through and helps me to get crap done.
I love it. I've adapted that as well. So.
Yes. You're welcome.
Cool. So one of the things we want to do also too on almost every podcast, and we want to try to align it with our topic, is to have a recipe. So what's one of the big things that for us is that we're foodies. We love food. It's got to be good food. So we want to have a recipe that hopefully ties into with our topic a little bit, that we want to talk about. But then also too, we'll take that recipe, we'll post it on our website, therudimentary.life.com, where you can go there. You can have it'll show the ingredients, the method, all that kind of stuff. And then on some of them, we'll even do on our YouTube channel, some videos of I'll say us, but probably more Michelle and me messing things up, videos of how to make this right. So, again, Michelle, babe, recipe. What recipe you want to share with us today?
So today we are going to share one of our family favorites. And when you think about being nostalgic and being a kid and, again, we are in Buffalo, New York. We're coming up on cold season. And so soups are a big thing. And I think about when your mom would call you in from, building a snowman outside and be like, hey, lunch is ready. And there was nothing that hit quite as well as your traditional classic grilled cheese and tomato soup.
Love it.
She'd pop open a can of Campbell's and, you'd have your Wonder Bread, white bread with your slice of American cheese product. Because it's not actually cheese.
It's got to be at least 50% cheese to call it cheese, and it's not.
And it is not. But there was something about dipping your sandwich in your soup, and I don't know, I can still picture that.
Yeah,
and
100%.
It was glorious. Well, we're grown-ups now, and we know that some of those things aren't the best ingredients to be putting in your body, but we still want our grilled cheese and tomato soup. So we elevated our grilled cheese tomato soup game.
It's next level.
It's next level, not gonna lie. But we're gonna share this recipe. So it's homemade tomato soup. It is harder than cracking open a can of tomato soup. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, it's just the same. You just dump everything in and magically soup appears. But I will say this, it is a very much easy recipe. It is pretty much dumping everything in the pot, simmering, and then if you don't have an immersion blender, if you don't know what that is, Google it. It's a game changer.
Full transparency, I did not know what an immersion blender was. I thought it was like, oh, is it like a blender you can put underwater, which kind of it is, but that's not in my mind
like
what I was thinking.
It's like a stick blender that you can stick in things, and it has a little blade at the bottom. I think ours was $30, so it's not, you can get really expensive ones. I think ours was $30. It's a game changer in the kitchen. I love it. I blend things up all the time. But if you don't have one, you can use a regular blender. But that would be really helpful. Any kind of pureed soups, because I will share a lot of soups because I love soup. But literally, you just simmer everything, blend it all up, and it can be as smooth as you want. It doesn't have to have chunks. If you like chunks, you can leave it chunky too. So there's that. The grilled cheese sandwich, when you see the recipe, there's going to be some things that you're like, oh, that's weird. I promise you. And the very first thing I'm going to say is, we're weirdos. We put sliced green apple on our grilled cheese sandwich.
It's amazing.
I know you're saying, yeah, you crazy, Michelle. Like, why would you put apples on grilled cheese? I promise you, just try it once. If you don't like it, okay, I get it. You might be crazy, but I get it. Not everyone is the same. But there is something about that. We put a little mustard. You can either use Dijon or honey mustard.
If you use a Dijon or like a spicy mustard, you only want to use a little.
Yeah, Eric learned the hard way.
I slathered it on both sides of my bread and immediately ruined my grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah, immediate regret.
Yeah.
But the recipe will be on there, all the different options. It's one of our family's favorites. It's a great cold weather.
We drizzle honey on our grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah, honey and thyme. And like I said, it's not weird ingredients that you're like, oh, where do I find this? You can find them at any grocery store, but it's just different. And it'll take longer than throwing a slice of American cheese product on some white bread.
Yeah.
But your taste buds will be very happy with you.
And we affectionately call it fancy grilled cheese sandwich.
Fancy grilled cheese sandwich, because we fancy like that.
Yeah, yep, because we're so fancy.
Because we're so fancy. But yeah, I would highly encourage, try it. It'll bring you back and to those days of playing outside and your mom calling you in for lunch.
Yeah.
But that's my share for today. It'll be on the website with some instructions. I promise you will not regret.
If you make it, post a picture.
Yeah.
Tag us.
Tell us what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Like, you know, and honestly, part of this whole thing is we want to be interactive with everybody. So, like, if you go to our website, there's ways you can reach out to us via email, ideas that you're like, hey, talk about this on your podcast, or do you guys have a great recipe for this, or whatever. Again, not that we're going to say that we're some kind of gurus and we know everything. We've tried a lot of things. We've failed in a lot of ways. So we've learned through that, and we want to share that with you guys.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, with that, hey, we hope that you enjoyed the episode. We hope that you found some rudimentary things that you can start to implement in your life, in your family's lives. We have a ton more coming, right? This is episode 2. We have a lot more coming. We have topics we're going to dive into. Yeah, we have a whole list of ideas. So stay with us. Stay tuned to TRL Radio. Thanks so much, everybody, and talk to you next time. If you want more of Eric and Michelle Hall and TRL Radio in your life, and honestly, who doesn't, head over to therudimentarylife.com.
There, you'll be able to find all the things, show notes, videos, step-by-step instructions for each recipe, more ways to connect with us and join in with whatever shenanigans we're getting into.
Yeah, and for extra credit, leave us a rating on your favorite listening app. We definitely appreciate all the love.
Thanks for listening.
And we'll see you next time.